Welcome, everybody, to what I believe will probably be an hour of laughter. Jiminy Cricket. We just made it in here alive. We started to stream. Sonia had to use the toilet. I was really worried about how washed her hands were. Not sure I'll be able to hold it, but we're going to try and be real troopers. We're going to try and be absolute troopers. So welcome back this week to Benevolent Banter. It is my pleasure to introduce you to the woman with the greatest giggle in all of New Zealand. And also one of the people I love most in this world. Yeah, but my wife's not going to be jealous. It's fine.
I like your wife too, though.
Yeah, so do I.
Yeah,
So
she's nice.
She's likable.
Yeah.
So what I do at the beginning of every show, my friend, is I have the guest introduce themselves. So if you could introduce yourself in whatever way you're comfortable with, that would be awesome.
I'm Sonia, Sutherland.
Not Northernland.
No, not Northernland. And I'm the program manager for Comexposium. So I organise events around Australia, New Zealand, and we've just started Southeast Asia as well.
Southeast Asia?
Yep.
Awesome.
Bali. Going
Really
to
Bali?
Bali.
Wow.
Invited.
Have you been before?
No.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I've never been either, but I don't think they're letting the gays in.
Oh, don't they?
No, I think they changed their laws, yeah. So we were going to book it, but then I think they were like, nah. Computer says no.
Really?
Yeah, that's what I heard. I'm going to have to do some Googling, because if
Yeah,
I'm completely
check
incorrect.
that. You could be talking
Sorry,
a whole lot
Bali.
of shit.
It could, wouldn't be the first time.
No.
Literally made an entire 20-year career on talking a lot of shit, so we're good. Sorry, this is about you.
Yeah.
Southeast Asia.
It's not about you, it's about me. I also have a little website that I run, which I review movies and musicals and things like that. Called
Tell us what...
Diversions.
Oh, that sounds like it could go in all kinds of directions. I have a little website. It's called Diversions.
That's right.
Okay. I like you even more.
I got accidentally, when my son started primary school, the parents thought I was in adult entertainment because I worded it incorrectly and said I have an entertainment website. So that wouldn't be my natural instinct to think that I was a porn queen, but they did.
I mean, at that point in time, if you said that.
Yeah, it was a few years ago.
Yeah.
So I was ostracised for a little while.
Sometimes those moments of being ostracized really grow us as people.
That's right.
Yeah.
Well, I couldn't figure out what, and then someone actually said to me, "Oh, what? How come you get to go to movies?" And I said, "Because I have an entertainment website." And they were going, "Oh my God, we thought it was something else."
Oh man, school moms can be vicious.
Yeah, I was impressed. They thought someone would want to pay for this too.
Everything is available on the World Wide Web.
Yeah, whatever you're into.
Yeah, that's right. Okay, so Southeast Asia, Diversions. And you do a lot with events. I'm really... So I wanted to talk on Benevolent Banter with you today because what I love about you is I've been doing a lot of study recently on like the neuroscience behind connection and like actual human connection. And if I'm honest with you, there is not a time when we're in a room together that we don't either annoy someone, make someone want to like either sit with us or sit as far as they possibly fucking can away from us because we're laughing.
We're too noisy.
We're too noisy.
Too loud.
Were you too noisy at school?
Yes. And the funny thing was, at my son's parent-teacher interviews a couple of years ago, the teacher said he's far too chatty. And I said, I'm okay with that because I get paid to talk now. And I was always told off at school that I was too chatty.
Isn't that hilarious?
Yeah.
It must be a genetic thing where...
It pissed the teacher off.
Well,
but
sometimes in life, that's like the comeuppance for parents.
I'm not going to tell him to not be chatty.
Well, it's interesting because a lot of what I have been reading over the last, I don't know, couple months and like really diving into it is that it's the chatting, it's the micro gestures, it's us when we're starting to, emulate each other and to mirror each other that actually builds different neural pathways through our brains.
Yeah.
And it changes the shape of our brains.
Yeah.
The shape of our brains are different now to when they were when we had to tell stories verbally.
Yeah.
Because then we started to ingest information by reading, then like the shape of our skulls and our heads actually changed. So that interaction, that chatting is so powerful for filling you with like dopamine and cortisol and oxytocin, all these beautiful things that help you grow and bond. And I think for boys specifically, that's a really important thing to learn.
Yeah, same. I think it's hugely important that they're not told to be quiet. Because also that's how you meet people. If you're naturally not, if you're an introvert, I get it, you don't want to. But if you're not and you're told to not talk to people.
That's right. Where do you think that stems from?
Yeah.
Where does that come from? Is it a generational thing? Is it that?
I think it's a generational thing, and it's not being disrespectful to teachers.
That's different. Yeah, that's different.
Yeah, that's different. It's just that he's chatty in class, but at the appropriate time.
Yeah.
Because that was my point to the teacher, was that.
As long as it's appropriate. I was just giggling because I was always chatty at the inappropriate time. I had detention once, so I was a pretty good girl. And I can remember Mr. Sando, if you're still around, Mr. Sando. Shout out. God, I haven't thought about him in, God, how old? 26 years I haven't thought about Mr. Sando. But I can remember he was just having a day in class. I can actually remember he was in white shorts and a purple tucked-in top. Like, I can remember this. He was having a good day. He was having a good day, but he was unwell. He was not well. He was sick. Kind of like Elton the other night at Mount Smart. He was not well. Maybe he shouldn't have come to school. But I can remember him saying to the class at one point, like, guys, be quiet. I just need you to be quiet just in this moment. And he was one of those teachers that allowed kids to talk and have an opinion. So he was a cool cat. And he said, just please be quiet. And somebody said something, and he goes, look, the next person that even utters a peep goes.
You.
And, of course, from the back of the room, what does this idiot do?
Peep.
Straight to detention.
Was that your only detention?
That was my only detention.
Wow.
I only skipped school on the official skip school day when we were 18. We have an official, it's called ditch day. They take you on a bus, so you're not actually ditching. You're still with school.
It's legally.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay. I got one detention, but that was I wagged. What is it? Athletics Day. Athletes isn't my forte.
Well, it must have been a hot day too.
It was. Yeah, and they didn't have aircon, so I wasn't going to turn up at the fields.
I promised Sonia air conditioning, and
we don't have it.
We don't have it, so we had on a fan. It's just in this corner for a little while. But we turned it off so that we don't look like, I don't look like that dog from the Apple commercial in slow motion.
I think I know the one you're talking about.
Slow motion.
It's got really big ears,
eh? Yeah. Everybody's like, it's you. You assholes. What a bunch of jerks. Love you, wife. It's really just my wife that says that.
I can see it now, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Switching gears.
Yeah.
So we spent a bit of time together. Well, I was going to say this year, but it was last year. It was 2019 because we're in a new year now. And one of my favorite corporate events of the year was when we went off to Taupo.
That was iMedia Brand Summit.
It was the iMedia Brand Summit. And Cossum, who we had on the podcast a few weeks ago. That's where Cossum and I met. It's where Bruce Pilbrow, I saw him speak for the first time. It's where I met old Mooney Moonshine. Amelia, how you doing? Yeah. Met a lot of friends there. How do you, when you're putting on an event, curate interactions so that people like me, who, secret time, definitely an introvert, have to really get myself going to be in those situations. How do you curate rooms like you do in that way so that you get the right people in the right place?
I think the main thing is, because this is our 4th or 5th year doing that one, we try and get some people that have been a couple of times before so they know the ropes. So they'll get conversations going and, just make it easier for people.
Nick Bolstridge. We're thinking of Nick Bolstridge.
And we've got James Fleet,
him.
He does it.
Oh, yep.
So people that we know they're going to open up conversations and keep the room going as well. But and we try and have a good balance of people as well.
Yeah.
So
do you think there's an art to that, to just being present enough to have deep conversations? What would be your top, I guess, I don't want to say tip because that's so like, go search your top tips. But what are the top things that you think make for a good conversation?
Yeah. Finding a common ground with someone.
Ooh.
And you can do that quite quickly with people.
Yeah.
I find I can.
You are very good at that, yes. Tell us your ways.
I don't know. It's probably because I'm nosy.
Curious?
Yeah, curious.
Yeah.
Yeah, or just, but also I can't stand if I see someone that's alone, or you can see that they're struggling in that environment sort of thing. So you try and push them towards like-minded people in that room as well, so that you try and make it. You want everyone to have a good time.
That's right.
You don't want it to be a drag, and you don't want them to feel left out either. So it's important to make sure that you find a common ground and then try and.
So it's important that you know the people in the room and the players and understand how potentially they would play well together. Have there been any interesting occurrences between people where you're like, I did not see person A and person B becoming best friends, but that's what happened? Has that ever happened?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've had an engagement.
The Love Boat.
That was a few years ago.
Wow. Really? Like just on the day? Did they meet on the Wednesday and get
from meeting? Not on the day. Yeah, it wouldn't be very romantic, would it? At a conference.
Well, yes. I was just thinking like a 24-hour. We met on Thursday and on Friday we got engaged.
Yeah, no.
It's very lesbian.
Yeah.
We go real fast.
Oh, yeah, no.
Yeah.
This wasn't.
I was engaged to Carly in like 2.5 months.
Really?
Gotta get her off the market. It's a small pool we're swimming in, let me tell you. She was the one. Like, seriously. Lucky duck. Yeah. Paddling.
Well, I only know of one engagement.
Wow. I think the thing for me that I notice about you, and tell me if I'm wrong, you talked about being nosy and maybe it's more curiosity, but it feels like you've got a genuine, want to go meet somebody and find out what makes them tick. You looked at somebody and they will tell you all their secrets.
I don't know why, but people tend to tell me quite deep things first off. Case in point. Sometimes really inappropriate.
I don't know why I told you that. I was sober too.
It was awesome though.
Yeah. I still haven't told my mother.
Don't tell your mother. She'd be mortified.
I'm mortified. So it is one of those, just like a genuine connection. It feels like, I don't know, in today's day and age, and tell me what you think about this too, because you're a mom. What kind of parameters around devices and screens? And you also work in an industry which is super tech focused, right? It's ad focused. It's the ad placement. It's ad tech. It's MarTech. How do you reconcile that screen hungry content just conundrum with who you are as a person? Because who you are as a person, you can walk into any room and leave with a room full of friends. So how do you work between the two of those? Do you set limits and rules
for my son?
Yeah, and for you.
Yeah, definitely. Especially, I was probably quite a strict mum. He was one of the last kids to get a device.
Yeah.
And he's going to be 16 this year. So, the last couple of years I've loosened it a bit. But I was actually quite strict with.
What were your guardrails? What were those boundaries?
Oh, there were time limits.
Yep.
It had to be out in the open.
Nice.
And it had to, but also the thing is, you learn to trust them as well.
The huge part of that is trust.
So you start letting it go a bit because he's clever enough to know what's right and what's wrong. And it's a really sad, it's really scary having teenage kids because when you see what stuff is being posted, it blows your mind. And a lot of parents, I don't think
understand
know
the depth of that.
Yeah, or how much the kids are actually seeing.
Yeah. I don't know how you couldn't know that now as a parent. Even if you don't partake in any social media, even if you don't have a TV, even if
there is no excuse for not knowing.
Yeah.
Or is it? Not knowing, it's that I don't know how to control it, I'm just going to not talk about it.
That's what I was
which
thinking.
Is quite a good Kiwi way.
Yeah, mate. She'll be right. She'll be right. Next minute. Yeah.
But some of the stuff you see, you're just like, oh my God, seriously.
Yeah.
And the classic thing is if you go to a job interview and they Google your name and all these things come up from years ago that were harmless fun.
That's right. It's forever now.
Yeah.
It's actually forever, which is kind of good having grown up before that,
Oh, hell yeah. I would have been in so much trouble.
Oh, my gosh. I just love the questions working in this space, too. And people are like, was it a really, tactical decision to get your name as your email address? Like, no. I'm old. There were no more. I was the one. But it's one of those things that everything you've ever put online is there.
It comes back to haunt you.
It's or lift you.
Yeah, that too.
Yeah.
But it scares the shit out of me what the children are seeing. But then in saying that as well, that I think kids are actually more.
Almost more attuned to it, aren't they?
Yeah, and also I actually think they're more sensible than what I was at that age. They know a hell of a lot more, like the environment and politics even and stuff like that. So you sort of think there is hope for the future.
Yeah. I think at our kids' age, I was actually worried about whether or not there would be that, that runny cheese that Americans have on nachos.
See, mine was getting high top Reeboks.
Oh, yeah.
That was my biggest issue. But
well, cheese and shoes. Yeah. Are they going to have cheese to put on the fries or not? Because if it's not, I'm not going to the baseball field. Life problems. But you're right. It feels
hard.
It was hard. Climbing trees, riding bikes. Oh, my God, how old? Skin my knees, walking uphill to school barefoot both ways.
I remember my son had gone for a play date at a friend's house at primary school age. And the mothers rang me going, oh, we loved that your son came with no devices. And I'm like, what? Yeah. And they're like, every play date we have, the kids come with devices. Wow. This was, 4 or 5-year-old kids.
Jesus. I can remember the inverse of that happening. I can remember the first play date where Chelsea was actually asked to bring a device. And I was kind of like, I don't know if I like where this is going. I actually remember that moment in time thinking to myself, so is she just going to go to this person's house and the kids are going to just be on devices? And that's right. But then Chelsea started loving Minecraft. So she made little friends that would Minecraft. So I understood that.
There's those, which balances it out.
Yeah, but then also that was a different mum, and at the same time she'd go, actually, I'll give them an hour to Minecraft, and they would be Minecrafting in the same world, in the same room, which was kind of cool, and then off their devices and they're outside. It's a fascinating and different world.
But the other thing too about, like you're saying about connections, I remember going out with this was about 10 years ago. It was a bunch of like 20-year-olds, and I was like old as fuck. And I was
They're 30 now, so don't you worry.
Yeah, that's right. And I was at the table. They'd invited me for dinner, and there must have been about 15 or 20 of us, and they were tweeting each other
from the dinner table?
Tweeting each other about how excellent time they were having, but no one was talking to each other. And I was like, this is so fucking weird. Like,
why even be in the same room?
Why bother going out?
It's been interesting being an American who's been in New Zealand and kind of our lag from dial up to our more quicker connections, because I can remember something similar right at the end of my last marriage. A whole bunch of friends of mine came over from the States, and we were down, I think we were down Matamata way. We'd just gone and done the glowworms, and sheep shearing was about to occur. Yeah. And we found a little restaurant in the middle of nowhere, and I've got this picture seared into my brain of all of my best friends from childhood who were in New Zealand. They traveled 10,000 miles and paid thousands of dollars to get here. Every single one of them was on their phone because they had bars to be able to check in or to share something on Facebook. And I can remember taking the picture and going, what are you dorks doing? Like, actually quit being nerds. Be here right now in New Zealand. I'll take a photo. I'll send it to you later. But they were just not wanted to check their emails, wanted to see their bank. And I was like, dude, you were online 2 hours ago.
I just found it mind-blowing.
Yeah.
Because they were just sitting, tweeting each other, saying what an excellent time they were having. But no one once spoke to each other.
That's the issue with New Zealand Twitter. Like, don't get me into this rabbit hole of New Zealand Twitter. There's a reason I stepped far away from that about 8 years ago.
That's where we met.
Yeah. Yep.
Via Twitter.
8 years,
you
10
were
years ago.
At Mercury.
Yeah.
Was straight here.
Straight. Oh, a lot about me was straight then.
Yeah.
Yeah. Whole lot about me was straight when we met. Boy, you've seen the whole roller coaster. Wow.
From the straight hair to the curly hair.
Like, just be you, boo. Just be you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I've met some of my best friends ever on Twitter.
Yeah. Yeah.
But in saying that, also there's some fucking weird people on there.
And a lot of it's interesting how emotional and how people can get tied into little groups and moments that really tear people down. And let's face it, New Zealand's small, Auckland's smaller, regional New Zealand is small S. But you're going to walk down the road and see people in real life that you're going to have to interact with. So any kind of negativity or bullying or just politicking between groups of friends, it just didn't interest me, and it does not interest me in the least. Which is why I've kind of stepped away from specifically that channel.
I've found it, and also just some days you just think you can see people are getting in a really bad place.
Yep.
They should just step away.
It's amazing how healing, stepping away, getting a little bit of perspective can be. I know about 18 months ago I went through a really, really shitty time, like full on suicidal, into therapy, all of these things. Thank God for my wife and our family and everybody that helped. But the best thing I did was
step away.
Put the machines down and literally step away. I would just walk. There'd be days where I'd walk for 3 hours. Yeah. And I'd get home and Carly would be like, how are you feeling? And I'd go, actually, I've never felt this good. She's like, ever? Not even on our wedding day? On the spot. I mean, that was a great day. I mean, in this moment right now, today was amazing.
Nice save.
Yeah. This is the story of my life. Right? Just wing it.
Foot and mouth. Yeah,
just wing
it.
That's what we do.
Life motto.
But it was one of those things where the stepping away and the connecting with other people because I walked so much each day, you get to see the same people out for lunch. You get to see the same people making coffees. You get to see the same folks out walking their dogs.
Yeah.
And I felt more a part of a
And
community.
you're not taking on random strangers' negative vibes.
Yeah. And we can so misread each other online.
Yes.
Yeah.
Especially depending on what
Mindset
mindset you're in or they're in as well.
And I feel like and tell me how you feel. I feel like that happens at work now. I feel like there's this trickle-down effect of we're always consuming other people's moments.
Yeah.
And we're always in our own heads so much, and we're not shutting off. So that self-awareness piece maybe isn't as strong as it has been. So when you get into the office and you're in this email or Slack or Trello culture, whatever it's going to be, I feel like the idea of kindness is just kind of gone now. There are great pockets of kindness, but I feel like it's this.
Yeah.
It's the one-on-one. It's this shit was hard. Let's talk about it. Instead of that shit was hard, I'm going to send you an email that will make you feel horrific. Do you feel that? I mean, it doesn't have to be at your work, but do you?
Well, see, the funny you should say that. One, I don't work in an office. I represent New Zealand.
Of course.
Our office is in
online
Sydney.
on your entertainment website.
That's right, with my porn site.
So we don't have any problems.
yeah, I have no problems
Everybody's
at all.
real kind.
It's just me. It's me and the dog. But our head office is in Sydney, and we've just had our away day strategy thing, and that was like the biggest thing that came out of it was that we have to enjoy what we're doing.
Yep.
Otherwise, there's no point being there.
It's a purpose, having a purpose. And some enjoyment.
And also, I have to say as well, I used to be, if something pissed me off, I would hold it in, and then I would combust.
Mm-hmm. I can see that.
The
giggles turn into not giggles.
Oh, no. And it was actually Reef, my boss, who said you can't
hold that,
carry on doing that, and then 6 months down the track, lose your shit at me because of something you were pissed off. And I was doing it at home as well.
Yeah.
So I've learnt to communicate better. Whoa. And now he says I'm too assertive.
That is such a guy thing to say, Reef. Like, actually, I'm going to get you.
No, it's made the huge difference.
Yeah. But it does add up, right?
Instead of holding it,
yeah,
you just pick up the phone and go, bleh. And then there's an easy way to fix things.
Well,
and then
that's the biggest part about connection, I think, that gets me is that we've got these devices that are built inherently to
avoid.
Yeah, to just have the little pleasure centers in our brain go off, and we misinterpret things like clicks or shares or amount of followers as connection.
Yeah.
Whereas
it actually doesn't mean shit.
No.
Really.
Whereas getting on the phone with somebody that you already know, with an imprint that's already in your brain, you're like, I'm going to have this conversation. And you can preamble that and go, Sonia, this shit might be bananas, but we need to talk about it. And you're like, cool, sweet, let's talk about it.
Yeah.
That feels a bit more empathetic and kind. But I see...
But it also doesn't carry on.
That's right.
Where then you start picking shit about all sorts of things that aren't actually going on.
Yeah.
And the other thing too was that that we've started doing Zoom conference calls.
Yeah. Yep. Face to face.
So then you can read people a lot better.
Yeah.
Because when you're in Auckland and everyone else is somewhere else, it's really hard to pick.
If you're just listening.
Yeah. And was that sarcastic or is that funny or are they being assholes? Or but if you're on the screen, you can actually see
their face.
Yeah, and then you won't take it so personally either.
Yeah.
So I've actually found that did make quite a big difference by doing that.
It's amazing. We are hardwired to look into other people's faces and eyes.
Yeah.
It's crazy, right?
Yeah.
Also very awkward. You know that thing where you drink and you like cheers each other?
Yeah.
And you're supposed to make eye contact.
Oh, fuck.
So that. I've got a friend named Hoodie. Cheers, team. And Hoodie is one of the nicest humans I've ever met. But I shit you not, when I try to cheers her and look in her eyes, she's like,
Really?
I'm not going to do it. No. So it always, but she's the most like kind, loving person. But that one thing, No, won't do it. But we're good. We're good with this.
But how can you, if you're not looking at them, you can't read?
I think she just thinks I'm way too intense. Because I'm like, we're doing this tequila shot hoods.
Or maybe she doesn't want to fall into your deep eyes.
It's happened.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's happened.
That's probably what she's holding back.
Yeah, probably.
That'll be it.
Probably. Yeah.
Yeah.
Since I haven't done a podcast since Elton John had a medical issue on stage last week, I want to talk about Elton with you because I feel like you're the one person I could probably talk about Elton with. Please don't leave us. I wanted to talk
We're about to do a duet.
Don't go breaking my heart. Couldn't if I tried. Sing. God, the dad jokes. Roll them out. I wanted to talk about compassion because I feel like you are probably one of the most compassionate people I've met. We can giggle, we can laugh, we can have all these fun things, and I think the reason people probably corner you at all times to tell you their deepest, darkest hurts and fears and joys is because of the depth of compassion that you show others.
Really?
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Yeah, I do. I was thinking about it this morning when I was off from my walk. I was thinking about what are the 3 words that I would think of when I think of you, and they were easily compassionate, kind, and then also very honest. So I feel like those are probably, I might just be projecting this on you, but I was thinking about compassion also because I was thinking about Elton and when he got sick and he was crying, and I had so many people reach out to me actually on LinkedIn of all places and say, what do you think about the media posting pictures of this famous man crying online? And my answer, I think it was the same every time. It was, I'm really glad they did that because I think New Zealanders need to understand that tears and emotion and compassion and kindness aren't weakness.
Not at all.
So tell me then, like, because I really truly believe in the compassion you show other people. How do you build that out? How do you build that into your daily life?
I don't know. I honestly don't know.
Who brought the crickets?
No,
I'm joking.
I think it comes from. I didn't realise I was doing that.
Kia ora.
But also, I think it comes from everyone's going through shit or been through shit.
Yep.
And sometimes there's a reason, someone starts being an asshole or is an asshole because they've probably had something terrible happen.
Yep.
And so that's why, regardless of who they are, I try to, treat everyone the same way.
Yeah.
Because you don't know what people's stories are, especially in the moment.
How do you, not just you, but how do we, specifically here in New Zealand, where we have such high rates of, specifically in men too, it breaks my heart, anxiety and depression and suicide, highest in the world, basically. How do we start to allow compassion to show up more?
I think by admitting our own faults or admitting when we've all been through it. And I don't think I've ever met a person that hasn't been through anxiety, thinking of suicide or depression or, all of that. Everyone has been through it or you're about to go through it. Yeah. And you're full of shit if you're saying that you haven't. Yeah. Yeah. Or you don't know someone that hasn't.
Which that's what gets me about social media sometimes, and it's hilarious because that's kind of where I've earned a crust for the last couple decades. But it's that false sense of perfection that you see online, that everything has got a filter on it, everything's perfectly curated.
Oh, yeah.
You've either got that or you've got like the gritty shit. The people who are really open, but go the whole other way and don't show the good stuff. And there's this kind of, to me, I feel like compassion is when you realize that both can exist at the same time.
Yeah, and I think that's maybe where mine came from, because in my early 20s I had a mental breakdown. Yeah. And I completely changed how I lived, who I hung out with, everything. But that was me, and it was hard work.
Yeah.
And like, I went to counselling, I learnt mindfulness, and so people think I've had a easy time.
Yeah.
And I'm really proud of how far I actually got from that, because you can spiral and carry on going, oh, poor me, sort of thing.
Yeah.
I put all these things in place, and they're still in place as well.
Isn't it
that
amazing?
I practice every single day.
Yeah, yeah.
But I think it makes me more aware
of other people.
Of other people as well.
I would agree with that.
At the time, you're thinking, oh, this is so hard.
How will I ever get through this? Yeah.
Yeah, but now you look back and you go, actually, it wasn't that bad.
Yeah. Yeah.
But also, I've got this thing in my head that I have to find the silver lining in every single life thing.
Isn't that magical?
Oh, it should, yeah.
Yeah.
Because you just go, okay, there's a reason this is happening right now, and I don't know what it is today, but I will. And all of a sudden, like, it could be 10 or 20 years later, and you go, oh.
That's what I was meant to learn. Yeah, I heard somebody say, it might have been Hannah Hart, the lady that does My Drunk Kitchen. I think it might have been her that said, once you go through a hard time, like a mental breakdown or, an unraveling, as I like to call it.
That's right.
It's a bit gentler. Once you unravel, then you just gain a perspective that that really shit time you didn't have, and it feels like you start to see other humans as like souls to be purified instead of objective driven and people to use or to just coldly interact with. You start to see the humanity, and you recognize the humanity in other people, because potentially the kindness others showed you to help you get better.
Yeah.
And she said, isn't it great that we learn that? And she doesn't quite believe that you have to go through that.
No, you don't have to at all.
To understand the humanity in all of us. But my goodness, doesn't it fast track it?
Oh, yeah.
And you just go, oh, yeah, yeah.
And I still, like, even now, when I think about it, you sort of tear up about how kind the people are that, like, especially your family.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you just think things could be very different.
Yeah. Ooh, full body cheers.
Yeah,
Chills.
like things could be.
Chills.
And I remember it was like last year sometime I was flying somewhere, and this is another thing, I was fucking petrified of not flying but going away.
Yeah.
And in the last couple of years, I've gone all over the show, thanks to my job.
Yep.
But also I was just sitting in the plane going, fuck, if I'd killed myself
you wouldn't be
back
there.
Then, I wouldn't be doing this.
Yeah.
Like
perspective, right?
Yeah,
There's a good country
yeah.
song, Hindsight's 20/20.
Oh, see, I'm not into country.
And that'll be Benevolent Banter for this morning with Sonia. We'll finish up. Just go. Joking. Really? Not even like, what about modern country? Like a Keith Urban or
I can cope with it, but
like a T-Swizz. Modern country's kind of like the classic rock of today. It's got two guitars.
Actually, I'm down for anything, really.
There's the Sonia I know and love. There she is. I
can drop a beat whenever.
Oh, my. Yeah,
I can't sing, but,
Tim McGraw and Nelly did a duet.
Really? So there's hope for you and I.
I was not going to say it was love you, Timmy. Love you, Nelly. You heard, but it was not the best thing I've ever heard in my life, so I skipped that one. Good try. Did not knock it out of the park. Right. So we are running up on time. So I wanted to finish today by asking you to call out somebody who you believe is a kindness warrior in this world. So I love the idea of kindness warriors. I love the kind of the tug between kindness and the warlike strength and just like warrior. So like when you put the two together, it kind of breaks down that feeling that kindness is weakness. I used to get so much shit about like, oh, why don't you go sit in your kindness corner? Oh, I'll take your rose-colored glasses. Like
really?
People would actually go, oh, your rose-colored glasses, why can't I just step on them? Like, it's like people hated the idea. Some people did.
But see, when people come up with at me with, shit like that, saying you're too happy, is what I get often, is, is I don't actually value your opinion, so get fucked. If you've got an issue with it, you know.
Well, actually, though, bye, Felicia.
Yeah.
Go. Like,
What's
you want to
the
be
point
unhappy
and worrying about what someone that you don't really respect?
Correct.
There's no point wasting your time on it.
Yeah, it just fascinates me that a human being could see positivity and kindness as something
As a
other than-
negative thing. Yeah.
So, for
But I
people who
don't
bring
want
those
them in
things
my-
together, call out a kindness warrior in your life. Somebody that helped either form who you are now or helps you on a daily basis. Up to you.
Ooh, pressure. I have to say, like right now, I have to say, is my best friend who sent me a nice text and rang me today
Was she like,
saying, "You've got this bitch."
yes, queen, yes.
And I didn't have it for years, but she, you know, if you find someone that gets you and they don't give a fuck about your weird quirks and stuff like that.
I married mine. Yep.
Yeah. So you know, if you've got someone, I didn't realize how invaluable having someone that's in your corner, especially when the shit hits the fan, and she knows a lot of shit, and she doesn't care, but she just keeps pushing you forward and is really proud of your achievements, and I'm really proud of her achievements as well.
Isn't that amazing? Oh,
But I didn't have that for years. Like someone that, and also I think because I didn't communicate very well. So shout out to Mel Homer.
Mel Homer. Hashtag kindness warrior. We'll get you in, girl. Thank you for looking after her. We love her. So thank you so much.
But also my parents. I have to do a shout. Yeah. And the funny thing, my brother and I were recently talking about it, saying it's the curse of having parents that have taught us kindness.
Because you care, right?
Yeah.
You care.
Yeah. And because they did. They, you know, it's like no matter what someone's going through, they always say, "Oh, but you know, look at the bright side sort of thing, and see goodness in someone."
I would imagine we grew up similarly then with the same kind of parents, because it was very much a come on now. If
there must be a reason. How about we look at it from a different perspective, sort of thing.
We talk. You probably talk to your son about that too. Same with Chelsea. She'll come home and she'll say, "This happened at school, and this person was mean," and we'll go, "Well, let's unpack what's happening at home with them right now
and look at this."
Yeah,
it's
okay. So Mel and Mom and Dad, kindness warriors. Major kindness warrior here. And holder of all the secrets.
Oh yeah,
all the secrets.
I know some goodies.
Bless you. Thank you so much for being here, and thanks everybody.
Pleasure.
It always is a pleasure with you. I didn't mean it in a naughty way. Thank you. Thank you for joining us, and we will be back live next Friday. Bye, everybody.